Can we get a nollie on that second case?
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mr. Sheriff.
Morning, sir.
How's jail?
I don't like it.
You know, you failed to appear 2, if not 3 times for these cases. Listen,
Okay, I'm sorry.
all I'm trying to tell you is that when you appear for court, good things happen. We have such reasonable prosecutors here. All you have to do is show up, and 9 times out of 10, good things happen. But when you fail to appear repeatedly, are deemed a flight risk, this is what happens. You need to understand one more thing. As a result of what we're doing today, from now on, you are facing a minimum of 30 days in jail for any new cases that you pick up here. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You're charged with 2 cases. You're charged with terroristic threat of a family or household member. You're also charged with criminal mischief. The plea bargain agreement you have worked out, they're going to dismiss the criminal mischief. They're also going to reduce your terroristic threat to a Class B. So now you're facing only 180 days and or a $2,000 fine. $2,000 fine. You've worked out an agreement. They're offering you 13 days in jail with credit for the 13 days that you have done. By pleading guilty, like I said, this will reflect as a conviction. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You're giving up a lot of rights by entering into this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, you can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. Once you plead guilty, you can never change it. Is this what you want to do?
Yes,
How do you plead to the terroristic threat? Guilty or not guilty?
guilty.
I'm going to find you guilty. I'm going to withhold, or I'm going to find you guilty, send it you to the agreement. The only other thing I'm going to tell you is that whatever you did to pick up these cases, I would be very careful, because if you continue with the same course of conduct, it's very possible they charge you with a more serious offense. All right?
Yes, sir.
Good luck, sir. And next time, show up. All right.
Good luck.
Take care. You are Javier Guevara.
Yes.
Mr. Guevara, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. You have worked out an agreement where they're offering you 3 days in jail with credit for the 2 days that you have done. You need to understand that you're making a lifetime decision today where this DWI will be going on your record. It will be there for the rest of your life. It's even there after you die. This is important because if you get pulled over in the future, the first thing an officer does is they look at your record. And if they see that you have a prior DWI and they go to your window and they smell alcohol or they smell anything funky, it's probably not going to go well for you. And what we're doing today, from now on, you're facing a minimum of 30 days in jail. Do you understand?
Yes.
Even if you have a sip of alcohol, I wouldn't get into a car because it is a humongous risk. Giving up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen or possible facing consequences, you can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. Under federal law, you give up the right to appeal. That's why I said, once you plead guilty, it goes on your record, it will be there forever. Knowing all this, do you still want to do this?
¿Tu declaración? No. Sabiendo todo, quiere seguirte. Habiendo toda la información que le dio, pues, quiere seguir. Yes.
Speak to the offense of driving while intoxicated, guilty or not guilty.
Guilty.
One more thing you need to understand, Mr. Guevara. DWI is big business in Texas. There is a $3,000 surcharge that would normally apply to you now as a result of you pleading guilty. And if you don't pay it, every $100 you owe, you sit 1 day in jail. I will waive that for you now because we all make mistakes. But I'm telling you now, if you continue to make mistakes where you endanger my public, the next DWI, it is a $6,000 surcharge. And like I said, if you don't pay it, $100 that you owe, you sit 1 day in jail. Do you understand? If you want to get lit, take An Uber. I'm going to suspend your license for 90 days. Do not drive until you get a license. Good luck to you, Mr.
Una
Yamamoto.
licencia de conducir.
Starting with the state.
John Davenport, City, Your Honor.
Jose Ceja for Mr. Alfaro.
Okay, are you in on this as well?
I'll tell you. Waive jurisdiction on behalf of the state of Texas, Your Honor.
Got it, okay. So for purposes of the record, we are here. Today is set for a dispositive motion to suppress on this DWI second. And we are all in agreement that it is a dispositive nature. So if state loses, you dismiss. If you lose, you end up pleading, correct?
Right, and I think we already have the plea worked out, which is a reduction to DWI first probation.
Okay. And Your Honor, that was a prior deal for the prior prosecutor that I'm honoring.
You're okay with it?
I'm honoring.
Okay. You said you had some stipulations that you want to go over.
Yes, Mr. Davenport and I have some stipulations regarding to the relevant times, just to speed up the testimony.
Okay,
And I think he's got them written down. I'm not sure if he wants to read them into the record.
you mind?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please.
At 3:40 a.m. on July 7th, the officers arrived on scene. At 3:44 a.m., the officers made contact with the defendant. At 3:46 a.m., the defendant was detained and placed in the officer's vehicle. And at 4:30, Officer Rohr begins the DWI investigation at the police station.
You said at the police station,
Yes, Your Honor.
so there's no investigation on the scene.
There is no DWI investigation on the scene.
Okay. So it's your motion.
I don't know if the state is stipulating that this was a warrantless arrest. I mean, if not, then I can just call the officers and establish that.
Your Honor, the state was stipulated that it was a warrantless arrest.
Okay. All right. Ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And
Floor
the
is yours.
first witness, the state calls Chad Johnson to the stand.
Do you mind grabbing? Is he in the courtroom or is he outside? Please come up to the stand and raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay? Please mind taking a seat. If you don't mind, please speak loudly, clearly. If you hear the word objection, just stop until it's addressed and then you may continue. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Can you please state your full name for the record?
Chad Johnston,
And what do you do for work?
employed by the Pasadena Police Department,
And how long have you been doing that for?
6 years.
Do you ever have any specialized training and experience for that?
That's the police academy.
Can you kind of briefly describe what that training involves?
Police academy?
Yes, just
Penal code, transportation code, CCP, DWIs, stop stack, felony clearing. Basically anything that we could use on our government control.
And do you have any other experience prior to working at Pasadena Police Department?
In law
In
enforcement?
law enforcement, yes.
Yeah.
And approximately how many DWI investigations have you been?
I'm sorry, repeat that.
Approximately how many DWI investigations have you been a part of in your career?
Hundreds.
And do you recall a particular DWI investigation you were a part of on July 7th, 2024?
So,
Specifically, how did you come to be involved in the incident we are here for today?
our dispatch received a call for service while a subject passed out at a intersection on the way.
Can you clarify what you mean by pass out?
Subject was inside his vehicle in a medium lane travel, asleep at the driver's wheel.
And what did you see when you got there?
Once I got there, their vehicle in the number 2 lanes for eastbound traffic on Southmore, stopped. Driver was slumped over, asleep with loud music. We initially started with flashing our flashlights on him, banging on the window. That was unsuccessful. It got to the point where me and my backup officer began rocking the vehicle for several minutes before, or for a little while before the defendant woke up.
And did these facts at the time, did they indicate or raise your suspicions as to any particular crime that might be occurring?
Possible beat-up.
Why is that?
I mean, normally people do not fall asleep at the wheel while driving a motor vehicle, especially with their foot on the brake and vehicle still in drive. And then if someone does fall asleep, which has happened in the past, they usually wake up pretty easily and don't need officers rocking the vehicle from side to side in order to wake them up.
So you eventually woke up the defendant, correct?
Yes.
And what did you do after that?
Once I woke him up, he took his foot off the brake and rolled into my backup officer's marked patrol vehicle. Then once he was stopped in the patrol vehicle, he got him to open up the door. I turned the vehicle off and placed it in park, got him outside the vehicle.
And when you got him out of the vehicle, did you notice anything specifically about it?
I smelled a strong odor of alcoholic beverages emitting from his breath in person, and he had slurred speech.
And what did you do next?
I requested a DWI task force officer come to the scene, if one was available.
And those signs that you said you observed when you made contact with the defendant, based on your training experience, what does that indicate to you?
Those are signs of intoxication.
You said you contacted a DWI officer, and after that, what did you do?
He was not available. He was occupied at the jail. Due to the vehicle being in moving line of travel, I arrested the driver for impeding the flow of traffic and transported them to the jail for the traffic offense and for the DWI officer to conduct a DWI investigation.
So you said earlier how many DWI investigations you've been a part of, but how many DWI investigations have you taken all the way through?
Very few. If I were to guess, probably less than 5.
And about how long would you say it takes you to complete a DWI investigation?
It would take me several hours.
And where was the scene in relation to the police station?
Block and a half away,
And how long did it take you to drive from the scene to the police station?
less than 5 minutes.
And can you just clarify, why did you decide to move the scene to the police station?
There were several reasons. One, it's safer to conduct the investigation in a controlled jail than it is to conduct a DWI investigation in the middle of the roadway, where anyone can come by, get hit, or cause an accident, get involved in an accident. Conditions are better, flat, even jail floor as compared to roadways where the time I'm in the ground or anything like that. And then also, our DWI task force officer was occupied already, was unable to make the scene, and requested that I meet with them at the jail.
They passed the loose, John.
Hold on a second. You said when he got out of the car, he stumbled back or crashed or something?
When he woke up, he took it, the vehicle was in drive with his foot on the brake. So once he woke up from us rocking the vehicle, he took his foot off the brake and rolled into my backup officers.
So it rolled in, it actually crashed into the other car.
Yes.
Okay, all right. That's the only thing I wanted clarification. Okay,
May I proceed?
please.
Good morning, sir. So can you describe in general your role in this investigation?
I was the first officer on scene, and I was one of the dispatch and responding officers to it.
Okay, and fair to say that he was in pretty deep sleep, right?
Sure.
And at the scene, very little time was spent with Mr. Alfaro. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you said that you've done approximately 5 DWI investigations?
I'm guessing, but that's what it says.
Okay, but you've done your NHTSA training,
Yes.
and you know that the second stage of the NHTSA training is called the personal contact stage, right?
Mhm.
Do you recall what that is?
I do not.
Okay. You know that in any investigation, it's important to spend time with the person that you're investigating and try to distinguish illegal from legal behavior, right?
Absolutely.
And in kind of big picture terms, that's one of the things that the NHTSA manual teaches you how to do, right?
Mhm.
Is that yes?
Yes.
Because it's not illegal to drink and drive. It's only illegal to drink and drive while you're intoxicated, right?
I'm not necessarily, I mean, there's driving on belt and detainer and other violations as well.
Well, we can agree that in not all.
Talking about DWI, then yes, I would agree with you.
Okay. In general, not every time that somebody drinks after having consumed alcohol, not every time are they committing a crime, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, in this case, you were dealing with somebody who was deep asleep and was roused out of sleep, right? And it wouldn't be surprising if that person exhibited things like red eyes, right?
Yes.
Yes, it would not be surprising.
It would not be surprising.
Okay. That they appeared maybe a little bit disoriented, right? And you say that his speech was slurred, but you had never met Mr. Alfaro before, so you don't know how he normally talks, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I know what slurred speech sounds like.
Okay, but would it surprise you that especially on the station where the audio is more clear, his speech doesn't appear slurred at all?
That would surprise me.
All right. So in the time that you spent with Mr. Alfaro at the scene, that wasn't enough to distinguish whether the symptoms were from alcohol intoxication, possible alcohol intoxication, or just being roused out of a deep sleep, right?
I will not know. That's why I'm arrested for DWI right there.
I understand that, but in general, after such a brief amount of time, that wouldn't necessarily be enough to convince yourself that this is just a person that I've woken out of a deep sleep, right?
With other factors, I would disagree, but I mean, there's a possibility.
All right. Did you write an offense report in this case?
I wrote the supplement report.
One moment, Judge. Judge, may I confer with the prosecutor for a second? Okay. Your offense report actually doesn't say anything about arresting him for impeding a roadway, does it?
My supplement does.
And Officer Rohrer, who was the lead officer in this case?
Officer Orwell was the one that worked the DWI investigation.
Okay, and it was his understanding that the scene was being moved to the scene to continue the DWI investigation. Is that right?
Objection, Your Honor, speculation.
If you know.
I don't know what Officer Orwell put in his report, and I'm not going to tell you what was in his report.
Ask the witness.
Anything further?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly, thank you. Officer, was this a public roadway?
Yes.
And were there that you stated initially that because of the defendant being asleep, you had suspicion of a DWI detention. Were there any other facts that gave rise to further suspicion of a DWI in the course of your
unforgettable encounter.
Yes.
I mean, there was the strong level of alcohol and everything from him. I spoke with him and asked him if he had anything to drink, to which he told me he had a few. So he had admitted drinking, I could smell it on him, his sort of speech.
Stay past the window, Sean.
Nothing further, Jeff.
Someone mentioned something about an open container. Was there an open container or no?
No.
No. Okay, all right. You are excused. Subject to recall, anyone?
Subject to recall, please. Your Honor.
Okay, if you don't mind, please just waiting outside in the jury. Step. Okay, state any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Brian Rohr to stand.
Great. Do you mind grabbing reputation?
All right, witness, not being sworn in.
All right. Deputy Rohr, if you don't mind coming up to the witness stand and raising your right hand.
Sir.
You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, please do take a seat. If you don't mind to speak loudly, clearly, if you hear the word objection, just stop until we address it, and then you may continue. Okay? All right. State, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you please state your full name for the record?
Brian Charles Ward.
And what do you do for work?
I'm a police officer.
How long have you been doing that for?
About 4 years now.
And do you have to have any specialized training to do that?
Yes, sir.
Can you briefly describe that training?
The basic police officer's course is about 9 months of specialized training as mandated by TPOL, as well as I'm a member of our DWI task force as well, which is further specialized trainings.
And what kind of specialized training do you have to that to be part of that DWI?
We would be part of our DWI task force. You have to have basic SSD, standard skill sobriety tests. You also would highly encourage you to take a ride course, as well as you have to be certified as a drug recognition expert within 1 year of your posting.
And how long have you been a part of the DWI task force specifically?
About 1.5 years.
And over what years employment as a police officer, how many DWI investigations have you been involved with?
I'd say at this point, probably upwards of 150.
And generally speaking, I know everyone's different, but how long does it take you to complete a DWI investigation?
Generally about 2 to 3 hours.
And do you remember, do you recall the incident that we're here for today that occurred on July 7th, 2024?
Yes, I would.
And can you explain how you became involved with that?
With a call service, officers went out, found the reason was people stopped in a roadway. They had reasonable conceit to believe a DWI investigation needed to take place. I couldn't make it out to the scene, so the subject was actually transported up to our in-house room to meet.
And upon contact with the defendant, what did you notice?
I noticed eyes were red, also detected odor of alcoholic beverages and some slurred speech.
And what did you do next?
Next was going into the other device, the BWI investigation, which would be the Miranda's questioning and then sobriety tests.
Do you recall the specifics of your investigation as far as the center's sobriety test?